Howdy, I'm Matt, and in this episode we will be unboxing a Stinger 64 EDF RC jet. So with that said, let's get straight in there. I've got the knife here, ready to roll. Now, to give you a heads up, I bought this from Motionrc, and I'll be blatantly honest with you. The reason why I bought it from Motionrc is because I saw Stu had managed to worm his way across there. So very, very glad to see Stu back in the RC arena. It's been over a year now, and I was having a look through the site and trying to pick out someone which would be quite speedy. And let's be frank here, right? Motionrc are for posh models, you know, and they have some very fantastic and equally expensive scale models on the site, which as many of you know, really not my cup of tea at all. But I did spot this on the site, and I was like, ooh, that's got my interest, because I'm not opposed to EDFs, but we know that EDFs really do suck up the amps, to say the least. Now, Matty did literally just very recently buy some decent high C batteries for some abuse in the Revenge Wing, and well, I was eyeing this up, and I saw a video. I saw one video on YouTube, then I found another one, and then I found another one, and then I was back and it had already been and bought it. So this came off the Motionrc.eu site. I put links to this model in the video description for you. And how long did it take? A couple of days. There was a weekend in the way. They also used UPS, which was a bit weird. UPS, again, if you're in the United States, it may be more frequent for you to have them deliver, but here in the UK is that, yeah, that's not so frequent. So yeah, well, put it this way, thank goodness it wasn't DHL. So Matty's not a fan of DHL, never has been a fan of DHL. Matt used to work for DHL in their warehouse, and I kind of know what goes on, and well, all couriers are bad, different degrees, but then anyway, UPS, the nice lady, brought it up the drive and collected it yesterday. It's been sat here for over a day, and this is I'm recording this the day. Ooh, hello. It's smaller than what I was expecting, but anyway, sorry. The nice lady brought it up, and it's been here for a day. And I've literally just got around to unboxing it, so we'll take a look. And I'm here going, ooh, let me just share this with you. Again, just for absolute clarity, this model was bought out of my own money for my own abuses. One thing to always check, that's that lovely noise, is the bottom of the box, because sometimes you find, like, what is it, the bird or turd video, the live session which we did a short while ago, is that sometimes we find stuff on the bottom of the box, and that's very, very frustrating, because you go to what should we call it, put the model together, and then you find half the bloody bits are missing. Anyway, we'll give you a rundown. That's got some. Oh, that's why it's got. Oh, hello. Now, what I've been and done, I got the zoomy doodah on the desk. That's why that tail fin had some gravity in there. We've got a pair of servos in the fin at the back. How cool's that? Right, let's get ourselves zoomed back out again. There we go. Yeah, a nice little bit of plywood in there. Nice colour scheme. Those stickers as well are the good stickers which don't peel off. It's like the that other model which I won't mention. I had to use a Dremel on to get the stickers off. So, oh, you're going to have to excuse me. I need to come around now just to point this out to you. That was one thing which I was going to make a note on. Let me get something to point on this so that you see. Let me go with a pen, and you'll see why. I know I could zoom in and everything, but have a look in there. Can you see the hinges? This isn't just relying upon a foam hinge. Is that there, and there? We have actual proper hinges in the fin. So yeah, that kind of is a good sign. The kit wasn't cheap. Let's be honest there. It was £100-ish. I didn't really know how much I paid, to be honest. I was too busy having a wander through looking at all the models going, ooh, there's a nice pretty Spitfire and something else, which really isn't for me at all. And then I saw this and I was like, I like that. And like, well, I'm not kidding, literally, a few moments later, it was, oh, hello. So a few moments later, it was in the cart, and I literally just checked out, and that was off. Off we went. Really, really nice moulding on here. It is EPO foam, so EPO foam is very light, relatively durable, not as durable as EPP, and there is definitely different grades or different densities of foam, and I can tell you immediately this is not the highest density foam I've come across, but it is very, very dense, that's for sure. So again, you would kind of expect that on a model of that caliper. It has had a little knock on the canopy. I'm not going to make a big deal of it, because let's face it, how well packaged was this, to say the least. So anyway, let's get those bits out of the way. And the other one is that the reality is that I'm likely to abuse it. So a little knock out there is not the end of the world. Oh, battery bay is not as big as I expected. Let me do the little zoom in thingy. There we go. Battery bay is not as big as as I expected. If I can spit me words out. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to get a ruler on that one, because that is not as big as what I was kind of hoping. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I know the size of some of the bigger batteries which I've got here, which I was kind of hoping to put in here. So it's about 32 mils wide all the way along. Deep, well, it's well deep, and there's an ESC in there as well. It's about 6 centimeters deep. So let me just flip that to inches a moment. It's about 1.25 inches wide by about 2 inches deep in there. And now, as far as length goes, it's about 4.5 inches, and that's assuming you're not poking it down the back, or about 12 centimeters. So I am a little bit worried. I am just going to zoom back out, and I am just going to walk away from the desk a second. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because, like I said, I bought some higher C batteries specifically for a different model. Now, I am going to see if I've got one of them here. Which one's that? No, 25. We'll try that one out. That is going to be a bit of a concern. What I'm also going to go and grab is one of those and one of those, and we'll see if any of those fit. Right, so I've got an 1800 graphene pack. There's no chance that's fitting in there without some well, maybe if I took the stuff off the back, you could just about cram that in there. To be honest, I think I'm going to end up having to get the knife out. So that was the 1800 graphene pack. We've got the Zippy 60C battery pack. That's a 4S again. And by the way, this is the 4S kit. We will get to the specs on this one in just a moment. So yeah, I think I am going to end up having to get the craft knife out so I can fit the bigger batteries in here. Again, it's an EDF. It's going to eat the amps for breakfast, so we do need a bigger the battery pack, the happier the days, you know. So yeah, that's an issue with that one. Now, an 1800 Turnigy nano pack, pretty good to be honest, those ones. Same story again, really tight fit in there, both ways to get that in there. So I'll give you a heads up, I will be doing a little bit of hackery just to get the battery in there. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the model itself. Comes with pre-installed servos. Now, that is, again, there's no point me zooming in. You'll have to take my words for it. That is a metal geared servo, which they've got in there. You can see the top on there is metal, and it feels metal as well, which again, premium kit, you kind of expect that. Again, the gears shouldn't really do that on servos, but you'll have to take my word for it. That really does feel like metal gears, which they've got in there. And no, I'm not going to take it apart and make it, see if it really is, and confirm that they're in there. Right, the wing section. This is only a 64mm. No, that was 64mm jet. I don't know on the exact wingspan. I will check on the iPad in a moment. Again, decent quality construction, decent servos. There are additional holes underneath each wing. I am guessing that was because, in fact, let me just zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. It's here on the bottom of the wing. Look, there's two funny little bays underneath there. I would guess That's not for servos, that's for landing gear. I was thinking, well, look, if that was if that was for a servo, there's no line like trench coming up to hook it up. So what else could it be? And what the other thing is it could be is for landing gear. So that would be fixed landing gear at the bottom, which for many of you know is completely pointless for me because I fly in a field of poo most of the time, and as such, yeah, it would be a waste of time. Oh, did you notice, by the way? I'm sorry for the zooming in and outies, but you'll see why I'm zooming in and out. There's a really nice cover on top of the control horn, so that's the front of the wing here. So when you're landing in grass or into a hedge, as my case may be, is that the servos are now protected. Now, one very, very curious thing, and I don't know if you can just about see that on here. Where's the pen? There we go. That control horn linkage is down on the middle hole of the servo. Okay, on the control horn, the push rod is on the middle hole for the control surface. So that is very, very curious. Now, why would they have done that? Maybe they need to do that for extra authority in the roll, for example. Maybe they've done that for torque. So with the servo down with the control horn that far down the clevis, down the control horn, is that maybe they've done that because we need more torque on the actual control surface. Now, again, that is it's very curious why they've done that, because I've just looked inside of the hole and the actual push rod is on the top hole of the servo. So with that now in mind, I would guess that is this just for more movement. So if this model turns out to be very, very twitchy in the sky, very simple fix for that is to move that clevis up onto the top hole for the aileron. Now, one thing which I really do like is that it's separate servos. There is no Y lead in the middle. We have two separate connectors. That does give us the potential to maybe mix in some spoilerons into the actual surfaces themselves so that we can get this model to slow down. I don't think that's going to be needed, but the pure fact that we do have separate servos and no hardwired Y lead on these is happy days from my book. Anyway, let's have a take a look underneath the model itself. So this is the point in time where I'll show you the EDF unit, and then we're going to have a look at the iPad and take a closer look to what the specs are. So yeah, another zoom in, and we'll have a quick look. Now, it did come, get the pen, with the ESC. So there's the battery bay, and there is a little hole up on the front. So yes, I'm sure that this was meant for some nose landing gear at some point. And again, nice, I guess that's ABS plastic on there. I'm sure if we stuck a knife in it and scraped it, it would sound like we got glass fibre in there as well. There's the battery bay. You'll see that we got the ESC in there. Now, there's no markings on the ESC at all, but it's curious that they've actually cut out the plate, or part of the plate on top of the heatsink there. That is a little bit curious. So I assume, well, they know that it's going to get hot. And do note that this is the 4S version. Taking a look underneath, oh, really nice touch. We have mould in it. Again, that's not, oh, you can just about see in there. That's a little piece of plywood which is moulded in there, so we've got something decent to screw into. I kind of like that, perhaps over plastic, because that's easier to replace. Excuse me, if, God forbid, we broke it. There's ventilation holes in here, as you can see just here, to get extra air in from the nose. Some people call it cheetah holes, which is normally what you need for an EDF. But that said, look at the two great big air holes in either side of the fuselage, and it does look pretty mean, to say the least. Let's take a quick look at the. By the way, that was a really nice positive sign. Because the lid's really clamped down. I've lost lids from models before, and it really has destroyed the look. But anyway, that does, you've got to admit. And I'm trying to keep this family friendly, because you know what I would have normally said there. Right, the EDF unit is not glued in. Now, this is the 64mm Stinger, and according to the motor on the back, this is a Freewing 2836 3300 kV motor. That motor is a dedicated EDF motor, and again, you're not going to really be able to see, but it's definitely a dedicated EDF motor because it's got like a point at the back, which is not normally what you see on normal RC motors. We've got 2 landing skids on the front and back down here at the tail. And yeah, nice little plastic clips here on the back. Yeah, all in all, as you'll see me just rotating this model, I am, and you're going to have to agree, that yeah, I think I've got my money's worth so far. Just looking at the foam itself, you can obviously make your own decision, and also keep in the back of your mind, we always hold off final judgment on any model until we get her out and get her in the sky. Now I am just going to quickly put this one together just so that we get an idea of what she looks like. And oh, they've got the servos going in there. I'll get her on the desk. We'll have a quick nose to see what she looks like as a whole. Like I said, it's smaller than what I personally expected, but then again, was I expecting a huge Great Beam model? No, I wasn't, to be honest. And again, it's the 60. Again, you get an idea on this one. It's called a 64mm EDF unit. So where's the? Oh, there must be a little bit which we're missing. So it was never going to be that big. So let's not mention size. I'm sure there'll be no complaints once we get her up in the sky. I am a little bit. I'm in 2 minds at the moment whether I should be laminating this model or not. I think I will at least be laminating the wings themselves, and the reason for that is purely for the places where we land. It's not a perfect pitch. This isn't going to be landed on tarmac or one of those beautifully mown lawns, which you may have at your flying club, but we certainly don't have at ours. So yeah, I think I will be laminating the wings just to toughen them up a bit. Again, you could just put sellotape along the leading edges, but I'm thinking it's not going to. What's it going to take me? 15, maybe 20 minutes tops, all in. And that includes all the trim and everything to get these wings laminated. It's going to be a very, very quick job, to say the least. So yeah, I will be laminating the wings. I may also run a little bit of laminate on the underside of the model as well. But all in all, as you can probably tell here, she does look pretty damn mean, to say the least. One thing which I just picked up there, picking this model up, is that I would guess the CG, and again I haven't looked in the manual, is about here on the model, and at the moment is because with those 3 metal geared servos in the tail, is that it is very, very tail heavy, so we are going to have to put a decent sized battery up in the nose. But as we all know, red is the fastest colour. Talking about speed, this one is the 4S version. There was a smaller 3S version for those pilots looking for something perhaps a little bit more tame. For me, I'm just more interested in the faster models, to be brutally honest. So let me just have a quick look, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a quick edit of this and I'll put it up on your screen for you. So let's have a quick look. So at the moment it's saying 130 quid. Can't remember if that's what I paid for it or not, to be brutally honest. I have gone for the receiver ready plug and play kit 4S high performance kit, because I just didn't see any point in getting a lower one, to be brutally honest on there. So let's have a quick look. Runs on 4S 2200 milliampere LiPo pack. Now I would argue with that, and now that's obviously specifications which have come from Freewing, and I am going to have to get the craft knife out to make it fit in this model. So no biggie, but the 2200 milliampere 4S packs which I've got, even the smaller zippy one is just not going to fit. So I am going to have to do a little bit of Mick hackery underneath there, and it's only going to take a couple of minutes just to do. It's no biggie at all. Now this one has got the 12 blade electronic ducted fan for a realistic jet turbine sound. Now that's also a curiosity, is that one thing which I noticed in the flight footage, and also I spoke to 2 other owners which have got these, and they said it's loud because it's an EDF, but it's not like terribly loud. You would get away with it at a UK flying site. So that was thumbs up for me. Now this has got the upgraded high performance 2836 3300 kV motor. That's happy days. That we are really going to be going for some. Yeah, it's EPO foam. 98% glueless assembly. Now, why do they say 98%? Because the one bit which you need to glue on is this little red bit of foam here. Now, the reason why you need to glue it on is because, I would assume, is that the wires which I've just stuffed down the back of here for the rudder is that, ooh, I've just realised we got a rudder. Sorry, it takes a few moments to kick in. I was blonde once. I just noticed we got a rudder, so we might be able to get some knife edge action on here. And there is a comment there for, well, I'll save for an RC coffee chat. Anyway, we got rudder on there. That wire, I assume they didn't run through the fuselage and stuff. Oh, and of course for the elevator surfaces on the back, is that we'll need to run that through, and we need to run it through the top. I can't do it because I've stuck that bit in for now. Anyway, run the wires along the top so they don't get sucked in with the fan. And that's normally the number one failure for ducted fan models or EDF models, is that wires or components get stuck inside of the actual fins or the fan itself. So yeah, do go very, very careful when you're setting yours up, or any EDFs getting set up, because that is typically, besides an unscheduled landing, that's the typically reason why an EDF dies in the sky, is because it's sucked a receiver in or sucked part of the battery wires in. It's gone chop, chop, chomp, chomp, and then spat it out the back, and the model's gone off into the ground. So yeah, we'll be going really careful with mine. I will most likely have the receiver up somewhere near the nose and keep that out of the way-ish. Okay, and again, I've only had a quick look myself in there. There's plenty of room. There is a nice little hole at the nose, so yeah, I am thinking putting the wires up the nose, and again, that will depend on what happens with the battery. And again, I really like that clicky sound, because then we know that lid's not going to fly off in the sky. Very frustrating. I've had that before with models before. Right, anyway, let's get ourselves back to the specifications. What did it say for wingspan? To be honest, I don't really look at the wingspan at all. It just said it was a 64mm EDF, so yeah, happy days. Once I know what the wingspan is, or I've looked at that and maybe in more depth, I will put that down as a little comment at the bottom of the screen. So, that is the Stinger 64. What are my impressions so far? I think it was well boxed. It was a double skin box with polystyrene. That's happy days. It's not a cheap model by any stretch of the imagination. It is that £100 plus on there. I've just spent £100 plus on there. My only minor little niggle right now is the lid's got a knock in it, but it hasn't punctured all the way through to the white foam, so it still looks good. I am going to laminate the wings. I need to read the instructions because I need to know, do I need to glue or permanently fix the EDF unit in there? To be honest, in my head, even if it says don't do it, I may go on and do it anyway, just to make sure it sticks in there. Maybe just like a dab of glue either side, just in case I want to get it out to maybe change the motor because I've killed it. Is that I'll maybe put a dab of glue on either side, so if I do need to take it out later, I can cut it out either side. The moulding's fantastic. I've just noticed, alright, annoyingly, the camera was full, so I've kind of lost my place here. What I was saying, there was a little nick in the wing, there was a nick on the lid. I think I did that on the unboxing on the wing anyway. I am going to laminate the wings. I have gone for the 4S pack. As far as build goes, we are literally just talking a couple of screws, and maybe, unfortunately, a little bit with the craft knife in the fuselage area, because there's no way the batteries which I own are going to fit in that nose, to say the least. I do like the idea that we do have metal geared servos in here. Frankly speaking, if I had not seen that in there, I would have been very disappointed, especially if you consider the price point of the model. Besides that, build time, if we ignore that, I'm going to wings. Again, my situation almost demands that I need to laminate the wings because of the rough ground which we land in. If we put that to one side, couple of screws, 4 screws for the back, tiny bit of glue on here, a bit of cutting out on there, which is going to take a couple of minutes. Yeah, probably be about half an hour, something like that. Again, add in 10-15 minutes extra for laminating the wings on the side. It's not a big job, it's just wings, really straightforward to do. And by the way, if you've never laminated the model before, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner to a series which I did on how to laminate RC models. Yeah, I'll be doing that for the wings at least on this one. One curiosity in the back of my head is that with a not similar, far cheaper EDF model which I had, which was a fighter jet, is that we did have in the tail the ailerons and the elevator were all joined at the back together using double control horns. Very peculiar setup. Anyway, one thing which I do need to check on the manual is that we got ailerons, but do we also mix in ailerons in the elevator when the rear two fins at the back? And if we do we then mix in elevator in the wings? I don't know. That is a question mark which I have right now. I will check the manual and see what it says in there, and maybe just check in the Facebook group as well. Don't think it will be the case of putting it in the wings, but putting it in the tail may help with the rolls as well. So anyway, that's my thoughts so far. It wasn't a cheap kit, but in front of me I see a quality model. I like that. I do feel that perhaps I'm 2 now I've been flying for. There has been a lot of carnage in those 2 years, to say the least. And I do feel that perhaps I can move on to nicer models. And you may have noticed that I'm looking down there. I'm going way off topic. I got a P39 down there, and I was absolutely enjoying it. We got the maiden out of the way, which you may have seen. There's a link to that in the whatever corner. Anyway, absolutely enjoyed it. Took it out for another flight, and I was really, really enjoying it. And Matt, being Matt, with knife edging it across the plane, across the field, not very high off the ground. Really, not very high off the ground. And I slowed it down and slowed it down and slowed it down, and she snapped me, and she snapped over and she bit me, and the nose went in. I snapped the nose off. Anyway, she has been repaired. So, like I was trying to say, in inverted commas, I do feel that my piloting skills can cope with fast models, which I'm sure you've already seen, and also slightly more expensive models now, because I think my stick skills are getting pretty good. Although I will be frankly upset if I stuff this one in. I don't think it's not going to be easy to break this one in inverted commas. You will quote me on that one. What I'll do, I'll cut that bit in on the day which I stuff it in, which will be whenever. Anyway, let's get ourselves back onto the topic. I like the model. It's going to be a quick build. It's only a couple of screws. We mentioned about the laminate as well. EDF in there, so it's going to be quite noisy. As many of you already know, we always hold our final judgment on any model which turns up here until we get her out onto the flight line. So on that note, if this is your first time here taking a look with myself at the Stinger 64, do me a favour. If you've enjoyed this episode, you find it helpful, hit the thumbs up, because I've watched other videos and people unboxing these ones, and I've enjoyed theirs. So if you found it helpful from that side, if you're not subscribed yet, underneath this video where it says "rag the nuts off," hit the red subscribe button. Hit the bell icon if you would like to be notified when the next video is out, because chances are it will be the maiden of this one. Now, a quick one note on the launch as well, just thinking in my head. You can launch this model from any angle you want. I'm definitely a wingtip launcher. But you could lob it from underneath. Have we got anything underneath for actual launching them? Yes, there are 2 little hand finger grips underneath this model, so you could launch it from underneath. And then, because it's an EDF and because it's sealed up inside, there's no chance of a prop strike at all, unless you jam your fingers down it, which you're not going to do because you wouldn't get your hand down there. Anyway. If you have any comments or questions on the Stinger 64, please just ask them down in the comments section underneath this video. And again, remember, I bought this model out of my own money for my own abuses. I did, again, I'm quite open with this one. I did have a look through the Motionrc.eu site to see what models they had on there. They had some really, really nice looking models, but completely unsuitable for where I fly. And as many of you know, scale RC models are really not my cup of tea. They might be yours, and I appreciate that, but for me, it's either got to be interesting or it's got to be fast. So this one has hit both boxes for me. It's definitely interesting. I've got nothing really which compares to this model at all. And also, as an EDF, I think this is like the 3rd EDF model which I've owned, and the other 2 were not that great. So fingers crossed for this one. And of course, it's red. So as we know, red is the fastest colour. Anyway, it's time for me to go. I would like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll see you again shortly. Hopefully with this one on the flight line, and we can take it out for a damn good smashing. I'm a little bit concerned. Where am I going to put a camera on this one for you to be able to get some onboard footage? I might have to mount it up here underneath the nose. I'll get that sorted. Well, to be honest, tomorrow's a flying day, so I'll be taking it out tomorrow. So yeah, fuck it. I'll bleep that bit. The weather's good today. I'm taking this one out today. So if you've just watched this video and you've not hit the subscribe button, you're going to miss out on the maiden of this one, because I am going to get this one out today, and that will also be on the YouTube channel. It's not a hard build. It's not going to take me like half an hour-ish. I'll go and get the heating iron on now for the for the cover and film. Really straightforward. Again, I don't say any more, I'm all excited. So from Matt, who's age 12 and 1/4 with a Stinger 64-inch EDF jet, I shall see you again shortly. Cheerios!